Formalities.
How much?
I got it.
Time to shine, Flo.
Welcome, everyone. Our chair is running a little late, so we thought we'd get started. I'd like to call our meeting to order at 6:08? Oh, okay, 6:08 p.m. The October 16th, 2025 regular board meeting of the College of DuPage Board of Trustees is called to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary Mano, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Student Trustee Escobar?
Here.
Trustee Appel?
Here.
Trustee Howard?
Here.
Trustee Jutla?
Here.
Trustee Mano here. Trustee Cinco?
Here.
Trustee Tuminaro?
Here.
Chair Fenny? Not here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, why don't we begin with recognitions, starting with student success stories. And Walter Johnson will lead the way.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and community. My name is Walter Johnson. As the Vice Chair said, I serve as Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Foundation, and Legislative Affairs. I am excited to continue sharing student success spotlights with you. Thank you, Dr. Siddiqui, for your vision and leadership in highlighting the student experience at College of DuPage. Tonight, we honor Aubrey Hyatt and her dad, Jason. Aubrey, a graduate of Waubonsie Valley High School, is currently a Board of Trustees Scholar Award recipient who is studying nursing. She's also a member of the women's golf team. Last season, she was named an All-American and was part of a team that finished third in the nation. Just a few weeks ago, during the Edgewood University Fall Invite, Aubrey shot an 81, the best score of the year for the women's team. Just to give you some perspective, there's only about 20% of the golfers in the world that can shoot that score or under. So she's pretty good. Aubrey's golf coach happens to be her dad, Jason Hyatt, who also attended COD and played golf for the school's team. Jason began coaching at COD in 2003, and since then, his golf teams have won 12 regional championships, finished third on 4 separate occasions at the national tournament. And our thanks goes to everyone who continues to support Aubrey and Jason, whether it's at the golf course or in the classroom. Aubrey credits COD for helping her take her studies as well as her golf game to the next level as a student and as an athlete. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at the video produced by Marketing and Communications Multimedia Services team that highlights Aubrey and Jason.
I'd be on the putting green just having my little putter, playing in the junior leagues and all of that. After high school, I made the decision to come here to COD, be able to get my prereqs to transfer to a different school to continue my nursing career. What brought me here to COD was the environment, the athletic programs, having my dad as a coach and having the opportunity to play golf in college. To play for my dad it's very special.
To have my daughter come here, you know, it's sort of like full circle, I guess, in a way, right? Because it is where I went my first 2 years not knowing what I wanted to do. And it's just, it's sort of cool to see, you know, not only her growth, but just in general, just her getting comfortable with making her own decisions and stuff like that. So it's really following in my footsteps in a way, but in her own footsteps. So as a coach for the last 22 years, as for the men, it's been a great experience in dealing with the different student athletes over the years. And over the last 3 years since we started the women's program, it's added another element to our program, right? It's something that maybe we should have started a long time ago, but I'm glad we've started it. It's been a joy to see it starting to grow. Right. I mean, we started with one lady a couple years ago, and we had 3, we had 2. Now we're hopefully going to have 4 this year, which is just a great growth. This past season's just been awesome. You know, from the men finishing in 3rd place for the 4th year in a row. Now on the women's side, you know, to have 2 All-Americans, you know, out of 2 is really something special. Aubrey finishing in 3rd in the country as a first-team All-American.
To be an All-American is, I mean, kind of unreal.
Her work ethic has been awesome, right? Not only on the golf course, but in the classroom as well.
To be a student athlete, it means you got to have that work ethic or responsibility of making sure you're balancing everything that's going on, schoolwork and the athletic side, being able to be there for your sport, but also make sure that in the classroom you're focused and working on that as well.
The experience that she got last year, I think, is only going to help her into this year. She's already proven it with some of the newcomers coming in terms of being a leader and stepping up in a different role than she was last year a little bit, which is nice to see, and that hasn't been asked of her. It's just something that she's chosen to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason and Aubrey. Thank you for representing the College of DuPage the way you do. We really appreciate everything that you've done for us, and we're hoping that we've done great things for you. We'll take pictures at the end of the open session. Thank you very much.
And next we have our faculty and staff service milestone recognitions.
Thank you, Chair. This evening we continue our monthly recognition of College of DuPage employees who have reached significant milestones in their years of service to the college. In your board packet, you will find a list of employees who have achieved service anniversaries of 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 years as of October 2025. For this month, 3 employees are celebrating 20 or more years of service. These individuals were invited to join us this evening so that we may recognize their dedication and contribution to the College of DuPage. At this time, I invite Vice President Parks to the podium, she already there, to read the names of these honorees. Following the reading of the names, I ask those in attendance to please stand and be recognized by the Board of Trustees and all present this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siddiqui. First, we have Thomas Reese, a network analyst in the Network Services Department, 30 years. He's unable to be here, but let's give him a round of applause. This is special to me because Kevin is part of our department. He also helped produce the video that you just saw. He's an amazing videographer, producer, writer, director, the list goes on. Kevin has been here now 25 years, and he is definitely an asset to College of DuPage. Please stand, Kevin. And another exciting individual, I've had the pleasure of working with Stephanie Quirk for many years, manager of student activities in the student life area, and her mother is here with us. Retired faculty. So I'm going to ask both Edith and I'm going to ask Stephanie, would you please stand? Would you please stand? And those are the nominees and awardees for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, the board will go into closed session for the purpose of discussing the following exemptions to be read by General Counsel Kalin.
The board will move into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, collective negotiating matters between the public and body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. Litigation when an action against, effect, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, and for the discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under this act, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by Section 2.06.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion that the Board of Trustees moves into closed session.
So moved.
Second. Jinx.
Moved by Secretary Mano and seconded by Vice Chair Appel. Closed session will take place in this room. The time is now 6:18 p.m. 6:19 p.m. And we will return to open session as close to 7 p.m. as possible. And we will now call the roll to approve this motion.
Student Trustee Escobar?
Yes.
Trustee Howard?
Yes.
Trustee Jetla?
Yes.
Trustee Mano, yes. Trustee Sinku?
Yes.
Trustee Tuminaro?
Yes.
Trustee Appel?
Yes.
Chair Fenny?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Excellent. We will return to open session as close to 7 p.m. as possible. Thank you very much. The board is returned to open session at 7:24 p.m. Secretary Mano, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Student Trustee Escobar.
Here.
Trustee Jetla.
Here.
Trustee Mano, here. Trustee Sinkle.
Here.
Trustee Tuminaro.
Here.
Trustee Appel.
Here.
Trustee Howard.
Here.
Chair Fenny.
Here. Excellent. Now we will go to public comment. Participants are advised that the COD open forum is your right. The board is here to listen. The public comment period is designed to gain input from the public and not for immediate responses or discussion with the board. Rules of order and common courtesy apply. Speakers will be recognized in the order that they signed up. The time limit for each speaker is 3 minutes. When I announce you as on deck, please be prepared to be called upon to speak. I will do my very best to say everyone's name correctly. Our first speaker tonight is Kaylin Daniel, and next up is Cesar Esquivel.
Good evening. My name is Kaylin Daniel, and I am a sophomore here at COD. Over the course of my studies, I have taken a variety of classes, some more challenging than others, yet I have maintained a 4.0 GPA. That achievement would not have been possible without my professors and, more importantly for this address, the tutors and adjuncts. One such person, Brian Kapuska, has been invaluable to my academic success. He assists Professor Sandra Anderson with her Spanish courses. When I arrived, I knew very little Spanish, but with his help, both in and out of the classroom, I have made great progress. I am not the only student who has benefited. He makes himself available for tutoring, always goes the extra mile to support students, and offers guidance whenever we need it. The time and effort he dedicates to his work are remarkable. I make a point of enrolling in Professor Anderson's Spanish class each semester, and Brian is literally half the reason I do. He, of course, is not the only one. Many others contribute to the smooth operation of our school and to the success of students like me. Staff in the Learning Commons, the library, and the classrooms go above and beyond to assist students in need. They work beyond regular hours and take great pride in educating us. Their ability to help stems from their deep expertise in their respective fields. Every one of them is vital to students like me. Without this essential staff, COD could not function as effectively. Professors, though brilliant and supportive, could not shoulder the entire workload alone. Without the tutors and adjuncts, students like me would struggle academically. We rely on them for advice on assignments and projects, and for guidance through particularly challenging subjects. I ask that you keep the tutors and adjuncts in mind whenever you make decisions that could affect them. Remember the students, like myself, who depend on their support. Please recognize their importance to this institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Cesar Esquivel. Seeing none, Rio Saucedo. Hi.
Hello, I'm Rio Saucedo, also known as Rio Almaria. And I just want to say good evening, board. Your continued attention and dedication to hearing the comments and statements brought forward regarding the formation of CODSU, COD Staff United, and its mission is imperative and appreciated. Over the past 9 months, I've had the privilege of meeting more staff across the college, connecting with dedicated faculty like David Goldberg and others, and attending more board meetings than I have in my entire 20-year career here at College of DuPage. For the first time in a long time, I feel a renewed energy, one rooted in hope. Finally, the custodial staff with their new contract will be receiving better wages, us taking a step closer to reflecting the hard work that they do for the college. We are so glad to hear the tutors will now be represented by CODA. We are working together, all of us, to unify a system that has long been fractured by the unjust treatment of COD employees. And I've discovered I'm not alone. My union siblings share a common goal: to help students succeed, foster a workplace where people love what they do, to feel valued and recognized. When I was hired as the high school outreach project manager for admission and outreach, I truly felt like I won the lottery. The role aligned with my education perfectly. I had an MBA with a concentration in training and development. My background was in communications and journalism. But over the years, my title was watered down. The efforts to help students succeed went unnoticed. Things became muddied, buried under the guise of helping others rise, while my colleagues and I became invisible and our workload continued to grow. KADSU forming has reminded me that I am not alone. I'm proud of the work, and I am proud of my work and also for working for such an incredible institution. And now I'm hopeful that the work I do will be valued once again, the work that we all do. The certification of this union, followed by the board's support, brings a sense of hope to that so many of us have been waiting for. And thank you to my colleagues for finding our collective voice. Thank you all.
Thank you, Eden Shadis and Susan Purcell.
Hi, I'm Eden Shadis. I'm a social justice advocate change agent. I came to COD as a returning adult student to earn a certificate to update my computer skills. I love the environment so much, I wanted to stay, and I've been here over 8 years. I consider myself a student success story. I went here, I work here. I started as adjunct faculty teaching psychology to hundreds of students for about 1.5 years, and then switched over to classified staff, earning a full-time position as a navigator. And I stayed in that position for the full run of the 5-year of that program. I coached hundreds of students every year towards success, retention, and completion. I now serve as an enrollment coach, onboarding hundreds of students every year through our enrollment process in admissions, outreach, and enrollment. I want to mention that classified staff are thrilled the custodians will be receiving pay that starts to recognize the important work they do. They've been undervalued for a long time, like many of us at the college. We're also glad the tutors are being represented by CODA. Across the college, we're collectively making strides to improve conditions for all employees. In previous positions, I've always been a member of unions. The only way to get change is to be the change agent. As CODSU, we are now the change agents. I joined CODSU because only COD senior leadership had the power of change, which became abhorrently apparent after the compensation study when only non-union employees lost their earning potential. Finally, classified staff will be at the bargaining table to work towards improvements for us, which inevitably make improvements for the college, our students, and our community as a whole. As classified staff, our heartbeat is serving students so they can be successful. We serve students best when we put our mission, vision, and values into practice for all at the college. It's time for the college to put its guiding principles into practice for us. Thank you, Board of Trustees, for supporting the swift formation of our now officially certified COD Staff United Union. We are super excited about this forward movement to securing better wages, working conditions, and benefits for classified staff. I look forward to taking our power back as change agents as we negotiate our first contract. Thank you.
Susan Purcell, and then Brian Kapuska.
This is Caesar, who was the second one you called.
Oh.
He was missed, so.
Welcome back.
Hello, my name is Cesar Escobar, and I'm a former student of College of DuPage. And I am here to express my support for the Tutoring and Academic Support Center. During my time at COD, I enrolled to take elementary Italian for my lifelong desire to one day explore Italy. What I didn't expect from the course is that I would meet my friend and tutor, Brian Kapuska, who would persistently challenge me to not just memorize, but understand the Italian language. As a result, I gained an appreciation and a sense of awareness for the science behind the construction of the Latin languages, and have been empowered to continue learning on my own. The College of DuPage Tutoring Center has many passionate professionals who can exponentially improve the quality of education for students, such as they did for me. The Tutoring Center at COD needs more support so that we can continue to give society individuals of the highest caliber who can do more than memorize abstract information from their textbook. We can build students who will not settle for how something is, but make it their duty to understand why something is. Only then is their college education actually worth their time and effort. Unfortunately, most of this information can only be provided at tutoring centers, if not during the limited office hours of a single professor who could be responsible for over 100 students. Although the classroom is a good place to introduce new information, it is the tutoring center where mastery of a topic is obtained. Mastery is essential for our future workforce if we are to continue surviving in a society that values intelligence, advancement, and rejects stagnation. This semester, I transferred to Loyola University Quinlan School of Business, and come January, I will begin my study abroad at the ancient city of Rome in Italy. It is the Tutoring and Academic Support Center to whom I accredit the confidence I have to navigate this new environment, for helping me understand Italian so I can go forth and do great things this upcoming spring semester. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Susan.
Hello, trustees, fellow employees, and students. I'm Susan Purcell, president of the Adjunct Association. Recently, the tutors joined our union. So I decided to do a little bit of research on Google Scholar and the COD library databases and see what evidence there is for the benefits of having tutoring services at community colleges or four-year campuses. As you might expect, I found about a dozen scholarly studies showing a great benefit for having tutoring services available, and also for the students who use those tutoring services compared to similar students who don't use the tutoring services. Student success improved whether it was measured by GPA or graduation rates. Students themselves, as you have just heard a few examples of, themselves report the value of these services. And just by nature, as a community college, we have many students who aren't quite up to speed for the college experience and require some sort of extra assistance to be successful. And that's an important part of our role in the community. And many of our students rely on these services. In the light of the value that tutors bring to the student experience, I hope the board and the administration's bargaining team will continue to collaborate with CODA in a cooperative and positive manner, as we experienced over the summer with our bargaining our main CODA contract. We had a successful experience with our contract bargaining because both teams were solution-orientated and listened to each other. And I felt like it was a very positive and cooperative experience. And I hope that that will continue. And I hope that same spirit prevails for the bargaining with the Staff United. Classified staff provide most of the essential functions of the College of DuPage, and they absolutely allow us academic employees to do our jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Kaputska.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Siddiqui, Cabinet members, colleagues, students, and community members. My name is Brian Kapustka. I'm a proud COD alum who started here as a student worker, earned my associates, and never left. On 11/11, I'll mark 11 years working at this institution. COD is part of my family's story. One of my aunts took classes here in the 70s and returned nearly 40 years later to finish her degree in early childhood education. My brother earned his degree in respiratory therapy here now and serves patients at Elmhurst Hospital. COD changes lives across generations. This semester, I will graduate with my master's in applied linguistics and second language acquisition and critical foreign language pedagogy. What even is that? Was I speaking English? I don't know. Today, I serve as a senior academic assistant in languages and linguistics and tutoring services, one of the 3 departments in our tutoring and academic support center, now known as TASK. I also advise Alpha Mu Gamma, our language honor society and club with Professor Sandra Anderson. Today, I also speak as a new CODA member. Tutors wear many hats. We are multifaceted. We provide academic support. We guide, we advocate for, and help students navigate challenges and offer a space where they feel seen and heard. We connect students, faculty, and staff, the bridge that keeps learning human. And yet, tutors were not included in the college's recent compensation and classification study. For over 15 years, we received no raises or cost of living adjustments. Only recently, after raising our concerns, did we finally receive a 3% COLA, appreciated but long overdue. And that confirmed what we already knew. We need a stronger voice to sustain the work we do. That's why tutors joined CODA alongside our adjunct faculty colleagues. We stand with CODFA and CODSU and all of our unions here at COD, regardless of title or status. We all serve one institution and one community. COD is a great place to work, but we've lost too many talented people due to fixable issues. Each department means lost experience and connection, something we cannot afford. When COVID hit, we stayed. When enrollment shifted, we adapted. When multiple full-time staff, including management, left within 9 months, we carried on. Through every challenge, tutors have remained a steady force. We were here then, we are here now, and we are here to stay. To keep doing this work, we need your support, equity, stability, respect, and a seat at the table when decisions are made. Tutors are not extras, we are essentials, the glue that connects students, faculty, staff, and the college community. Please help us help you, recognize us, invest in us, include us. And finally, thank you to those in attendance today, and especially to my colleagues who keep us strong and serving students every day. On behalf of tutors, the language faculty, and the students of COD, from my heart to your heart, Tahe dil si shukriya, Dr. Siddiqui. And to everyone here in the languages our college teaches, muchas gracias, grazie mille, merci beaucoup, vielen Dank, fichanganshi, 감사합니다, arigato gozaimasu, большое спасибо, shukran jazilen, muito obrigado, bardzo dziękuję. Thank you so much.
Thank you. David Goldberg and then Joshua Meyer. Goldberg? Oh, yeah. I've got you on the list, so just a moment. Thank you.
Good evening.
I'm especially impressed by the pronunciation, at least of the 3 of those languages that I can say thank you, as opposed to the 15 that were mentioned. I also want to congratulate Kevin Willman and Stephanie Quirk for their service to students at the college. Anybody that has a chance to work with either Kevin, as I do sometimes with students, and it's just a joy, and Stephanie Quirk's work cannot be stated enough how wonderful it is. So there's a palpable sense of optimism on campus among faculty and many constituent groups. I want to extend my congratulations to classified staff on their certification. Congratulations as well to custodial staff on their new contract. Increasing the base pay $3 an hour is a step in the right direction, a step towards showing all college employees the respect they deserve, especially those people that work behind the scenes. We see the results of their hard work every day and appreciate it. Since the semester began, President Siddiqui and Vice Presidents Lane and Newkirk attended Faculty Senate and engaged in productive conversations on their perspectives and leadership styles. Vice President Scott Campbell and I have met with them individually on several occasions. In a refreshing change of pace, we left each of those meetings with a sense of optimism. We appreciate the efforts of the board to hire good people to help direct the college in a forward-thinking direction. The best way to characterize that direction is a collaborative leadership style among all 3. Instead of dictates from above, our input is sought and meaningful exchanges unfold. We are excited to continue our discussions and improve COD in our efforts on behalf of students. One example is the approval of 19 new faculty positions. That number is grounds for enthusiasm, and having this discussion in early October is refreshingly close to an academic hiring schedule on par with the rest of higher education. Unfortunately, it is apparent that the new collaborative leadership style is not shared by all. Over the summer, as classified staff were engaged in legally protected efforts to talk with colleagues about union efforts, some departments actively opposed. WDCB, marketing, and institutional advancement were noteworthy for either physically preventing or making it difficult for the conversations to occur. That is not acceptable and not in keeping with the new collaborative leadership style that respects the efforts of all employees. In the words of our marketing department, we see you. Finally, I wish to express my strong opposition to Resolution 2507 and what I believe is an unprecedented action by the board. The board will vote to pass a resolution on what will not be done. Amidst the preambulatory clauses that recognize the efforts of students, staff, and faculty is the operative clause rejecting a mild-mannered shift in less than $1 million away from our fiscal participation in a continued human rights disaster. Rather than move those funds quietly or take no action, the board is choosing to pass a resolution, taking no action. Such vacuous, self-congratulatory efforts are unacceptable from an elected body. The operative clauses are factually inaccurate. I'm almost done. Title IV funding would not be jeopardized by moving funds or taking no action. We would not be in violation of state law. Such action does not discriminate against Israel. The Fox-Gottheimer Protect Economic and Academic Freedom Act, which is mentioned in the resolution, is a nauseating effort in Orwellian speak. Weaponizing anti-Semitism as a pretext to shut down First Amendment protections is sickening. Leadership in the face of adversity requires difficult decisions. Passage of Resolution 2507 is an abdication of leadership. If attempting to curry favor with creeping authoritarianism is the goal, I would call your attention to last week's arrest of Radul Bajovic. Born in Montenegro, Bajovic was a police officer in Hanover Park. Last Thursday, he was wrongly arrested by ICE. Bajovic is a proud graduate of COD's Suburban Law Enforcement Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Joshua Meyer and then David Hallberg. Oh, all right.
Okay.
That's you.
All right. Hi. Good evening, Dr. Siddiqui, members of the board. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak this evening. My name is David Hallberg. Sorry, thought it was time was up, but no, okay. I've been a senior math specialist here at the College of DuPage for over 10 years. I hold a master's degree in mathematics and a bachelor's in mathematics as well. Over the time that I've worked here, I've helped thousands of students. In the past year alone, I've personally helped over 1,200 students understand their ALEKS math placement and math placement test results and what their next steps should be here at the College of DuPage. Tutors are a vital part of student success here at COD. We often serve as de facto office hours for faculty, for students who especially can't reach faculty outside of class. Moreover, we build rapport with students and faculty. We bridge the gap between instruction and understanding. One moment that comes to mind was during a break between semesters. I met with a student who earned a disappointing ALEX placement test score. His body language suggested that he wasn't sure he belonged in college. I let him know that the score isn't set in stone and that he could improve. And he did. With a lot of hard work, he improved his score, eventually placing into Math 04A2. He eventually progressed on to Calculus 1, his goal. Later, he told my supervisor that I was the first person at the College of DuPage who talked with him and convinced him that he could succeed in college. I've seen other types of transformations. I tutored a student in business calculus. I noticed that he had a real knack for the material. During one of our sessions, I suggested that he consider actuarial science. He changed his major because of that conversation. I was lucky enough to see his progression from trigonometry through our calculus sequence. He transferred to the University of Illinois, where he earned his bachelor's in actuarial science. These are quiet but life-changing moments that happen every day in the Tutoring and Academic Support Center, formerly Learning Commons. Yet, our first pay raise came just this year, 3% after more than a decade. Forming a union isn't about confrontation. It's about awareness, communication, fairness, and sustainability. Sustainability so that dedicated professionals can continue delivering life-changing moments to the next generation of College of DuPage student. Thank you. Thank you for your time, commitment to the COD and the community. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. That ends public comment, and so now we'll move on to reports. First up is the chair's report. Since our last board meeting, the Board of Trustees has participated in many events on campus. On Friday, September 19th, Vice Chair Appel and I attended the COD Foundation Sip and Savor event to support student scholarships and the Student Emergency Fund. We are thankful to the COD Foundation Board and Institutional Advancement for their stewardship of these funds. The Community Engagement Luncheon was also in September, attended by Trustee Howard, Vice Chair Appel, and myself. The luncheon was very collaborative and provided discussions about the future of work with unique perspectives shared by a diverse group of employers from manufacturing, government, and nonprofit organizations, to name a few. The beginning of this month, October 1st, we had a legislative breakfast, which was attended by Trustee Tumanaro, Trustee Howard, a student trustee Escobar, Vice Chair Appel, and myself. This event showcased the College of DuPage with presentations from Dr. Siddiqui and other administrators who shared our successes and our challenges. All agreed that when we work together, the entire community succeeds. We look forward to continuing these important conversations. Trustee Howard, student trustee Escobar, and I enjoyed the homecoming tailgate and football game. I learned that it was a wonderful collaboration between marketing and student services staff, and the Chaparrals won. So congratulations to the football team and the coaches. COD hosted a college fair on Tuesday night, and I attended with my daughter Kayla to make a short list of transfer schools. It was wonderfully attended event by partner schools and students. Tonight's consent agenda includes a resolution in response to public comment about divestment. I just wanted to take a moment to explain this resolution in plain language without the whereas. In response to student input, we formed a task force to determine how to communicate with the Treasurer's Advisory Committee. The task force determined that the shared governance input form would serve as the first step to bring issues to the administration and the Treasurer's Advisory Committee. Ultimately, the Treasurer's Committee determined that our investments should remain the same. These investments help keep tuition affordable at College of DuPage. Many students receive federal and state financial aid in order to afford this higher education, and we do not want to put that at risk. This resolution confirms the board's agreement with the Treasurer's Advisory Group and provides guidance to the President and the administration. This concludes my report. Thank you. Student Trustee Escobar.
Thank you, Chair Fenny. Good evening, everyone. As your student trustee, I want to take a moment to remind us all why we're all here. Not just as students or as board members, but as a community that cares deeply about what's right. I want to encourage every student, faculty member, and staff member to keep advocating for what they believe in. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't stop at one vote or one meeting. What matters most is that we continue to speak up, respectfully, passionately, and persistently, for what we know is right. Every voice in this room carries weight, and every action we take helps shape the future of our college. Let's not lose sight of our shared mission, creating a campus where fairness, opportunity, and inclusion guide everything we do. Let's keep showing up for one another, listening, and leading with integrity. So on to my actual report. I had the opportunity to attend College of DuPage's homecoming, and it was an incredible celebration of school spirit and community, and I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who was involved in planning the event. From the activities to the energy at the game, it was clear how much thought and effort went into making it special for everyone. I also want to thank the Chaparral Activities Board for hosting Spirit Week. Their creativity and dedication truly helped build excitement and brought students together across campus. Additionally, I attended a Pamba Mesa, hosted by Latinos Unidos, Sobremesa, and intercultural student initiatives to celebrate the end of Hispanic Heritage Month. It was such a warm and joyful event filled with laughter, community, and incredible food. It had been a while since I'd tasted traditional Hispanic Latina dishes, and it reminded me just how powerful food can be in bringing people together and celebrating culture. The food was so good, you guys missed out, I'm sorry. I also had the privilege of attending the Illinois Community College Student Activities Association Conference. It was inspiring to connect with student leaders from across the state, share ideas, and discuss ways to strengthen student involvement and advocacy on our campuses. It reminded me that the work we do here at COD is part of something much bigger, a statewide effort to uplift student voices and make a lasting impact in higher education. Thank you so much for listening. Now on to the President's report.
Thank you, Trustee. This month is full of different activities, so I'm going to just only sample, the activities that I want to report here. Next slide. So on September 22 and 23, Dr. Lane, Dr. Newkirk, and I visited COD Center, and that was a part of our orientation and introduction to Regional Center, where we met with the staff. We toured facilities, we talked to some students, we reviewed enrollment and program updates. These visits highlighted the important role our regional centers are playing in serving our community, and we are committed to support their work and expanding access to education to the community. Next slide. I was pleased to join community leaders at COD for a roundtable on Thursday, September 25, that focused on how the college and our partners can best support our students, including Hispanic students and the broader Hispanic community. This event was hosted in observance with Hispanic Month. With a growing Hispanic student population and many District 502 residents identifying as Hispanic, the discussion centered on strengthening collaboration and identifying opportunities to expand educational access and enhance community support. Next slide. On Thursday, October 2nd, I had the privilege of welcoming state legislators to COD for a breakfast session. Our conversation centered on COD's role as Illinois' largest community college, with an emphasis on workforce development, affordability, support for small businesses, and our transformative vision for preparing a future-ready workforce. On Friday, October 3, Institutional Advancement hosted the 5 for 5 event, recognizing recent alumni who, within 5 years of leaving COD, have already made significant contribution to the communities, professions, and fields of study. These celebrations reflect the enduring impact of COD education and the remarkable achievements of our graduates. On Saturday, as Chair mentioned, October 4, College of DuPage celebrated homecoming with a full day of spirited campus-wide activities that brought together students, alumni, faculty, staff, and the community, culminating in Chaparral's decisive 66 versus 22 victory over the Kings of Lead Prep Academy. In recognition of October Mental Health Awareness Month, Counseling and Advising hosted the Mental Health and Wellness Fair on Wednesday, October 8, in the Student Success Center. The event highlighted a wide range of student support resources and connected student, faculty, and staff with 17 community-based agencies from across DuPage County. Next slide. As part of COD ongoing commitment to a strong transfer pathways for our students, we welcome NIU President Lisa Freeman and her leadership team on Tuesday, September 23 at our campus. We also hosted a visit from Southern Illinois University leadership, including their provost and the cabinet members on October 9. These visits underscore our collaborative efforts to expand opportunities, strengthen partnerships, and support COD students in successfully continuing their educational journey after COD. On Thursday, October 9, we honored our adjunct faculty during the Adjunct Faculty Service Pinning. This event recognized years of dedicated service and celebrated the vital contribution of our part-time faculty to student success. I want to extend my appreciation to Dr. Sonia Watson and her team in the Adjunct Faculty Support Office for recognizing such a meaningful and well-deserved occasion. On Thursday, October 9, we welcome celebrity chef and Food Network star Jeff Morrow as part of COD Speaker Series. Before the main event, I joined culinary arts students for a special session with Jeff, where he encouraged our students to pursue their passion and shared practical advice on creativity and resilience in the industry. Madam, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And we have 2 presentations this evening, starting with our long-term financial forecast by Scott Brady.
Good evening, Trustee, or Chair Fenning and the Board of Trustees. We're here this evening to give you the latest long-term forecast with emphasis on the tax levy board item we'll be putting through next month to make sure our tax levy gets increased at the proper amount. Next slide, please. Whenever we look at the college's finances, we always use College Policy 2.10 as our guiding framework. It basically states that we need to, at all times, to have 50% of our expenditures for the year on hand, and also that they're unrestricted, so that we always have liquidity to run the college on a day-to-day basis. Next slide, please. So we're going to be showing you some assumptions in a minute. Some scenarios in a minute. And here are the assumptions. Our enrollment numbers, all positive for the next 5 years we're projecting. They're anywhere from 1 to 1.4%. These are supplied to us by our research and planning team. State funding, we're being somewhat conservative again and holding that just constant at the $19.3 million we're receiving this year. Hopefully that will, budge a little bit, but it won't make much of a difference even if it does. The tax levy, we're going to be asking next month at the November meeting for a 2.9% increase. That was CPI for the year 2025, calendar year. And the next 2 years, 2.3 and a 2.2 the 2 years after that. All these numbers come from the Congressional Budget Office's inflation projections. Salaries on the expenditure side, we're going to be looking at salaries approximately 2.8 for a couple of years, 2.7 after that. Benefits are the one thing in this projection you'll see where we've upped them a little bit. Health insurance, and that has been quite high, our projections going forward. So we're just protecting against that. And then all operating and other expenses go with inflation for the next 5 years. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a slide we always like to bring out, and you'll see this year we're at 156 currently, but the state average has moved up to 165. So last year at this time we were at 152 and the state average was 160. We were $8 below the state average. We raised tuition $4 and now we're $9 below the state average. So we're making progress, but we're making progress in that we moved over a spot too. On the right there, we were the 12th spot, now we're the 13th spot. So we're getting there, but with these inflation numbers, I think other schools are possibly going a little bit more than inflation than we are. Next slide, please. So when we talk about property tax, we are limited by the property tax extension limitation law, which basically says you can raise the tax levy by 5% max or whatever CPI is. So that's where the 2.9% number that we're going to be putting through next month comes from. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is one that people, first time we've shown this slide, first time we had the data, and it's about a year out of date, the ICCB. This is the latest numbers they have. Quite interesting. You see College of DuPage. Our tax levy number is second from the last. So that's the lowest. It's about 0.2% or 0.2 versus the state average at 0.49, and you can see some all the way up at 0.9. So we got, and if you look at city colleges, you really can't count them in this analysis, but that's what their number is. They get special state funding that no other community colleges get. So that's how they make up and fund themselves differently than the rest of us. So we theoretically are the lowest in the state that uses the tax levy as a major part of their funding. Next slide, please. So we're going to run through 3 scenarios, A, B, and C. The first one, we always do the CPI model, where we're going to use for the tax levy 2.9%. You see that in your fiscal year 25, or I'm sorry, that's for tax year 25. But then the tax levy, the total tax levy will only be 1.4% because this also includes the bond and interest tax levy that we put with it, which is on a downhill slide right now. So having most of our debt paid off. You'll see the total amount going, next slide please. You'll see the house in 2024, a $365,000 house, COD's tax levy to that taxpayer would be $220. And you see it going up $3 or $2 a year, basically 1%. Even using, and again, that's the max we can do, so we don't have much choice in the matter. So there, next slide, please. So here we go. So when you see on the bottom, you see the policy 2.10. This keeps us very healthy, keeping us over that 50% mark for the next 5 years. But even better, you see the red line, the expenditure line, and the revenue line, both trending in the same direction and very close. Put a little caveat on the bottom this year. This is based on a 98% budget spend. as I've explained earlier, you can never expend 100% of the budget because there's approximately at this point 100 budget officers throughout the college. I'm a budget officer for financial affairs. You'd have to be a magician to spend exactly 100% and not go over. So everybody always has a little bit left in their budgets, and that's why we're using 98% now. But in realistically, it's probably closer to 96, so we still always have a little bit of wiggle room there. Next slide, please. So this is the doomsday scenario B that we always present for Trustee Howard. Likes this one. No, he doesn't. He does not like it. Where the operating levy, we go zero, and tuition, we go zero for 5 years out. Next slide, please. You can see that the tax levy would actually go down a few dollars every year. So it'd start at $220 and end up at $207 for an average house. Next slide, please. This is where we run into big trouble, where you see in no time, we just take the reserve down, and we're down to all the way down to 24.9%. So you see the two lines, you see the revenues are just flat, and you see the expenditures continue to rise with inflation. Next slide, please. So this is the third and last one, option C. We're going to show you the tax levy numbers remain the same because that's the max we can do, giving you those same ones. Next slide, please. So you've already seen this in option A, where it goes from $220 up to $2 or $3 every year after that. Next slide, please. And this is why we're showing. So this is $6 a year tuition increase, whereas A was 4, which was inflation. This one's inflation plus a half, basically, $6. The reason we're showing you this one, if you look at those years 29, 30, and 31, we're basically at an equilibrium. And it doesn't take all that much to get there. We're at a steady state where this is just going along. You see the two lines, too. The revenue and the expenses just intersecting each other up there, keeping us in a very strong financial position. This is not a recommended one. This is just to show you what a little bit more does for you. Next slide, please. So on each of these, we show you our kind of how our assumptions come out of the model. And for each percent in tax levy increases, $933,000 to the bottom line. So we're going to be asking for 2.9. So we're basically asking for, it's about $2.8 million a year going forward that will increase it. And that's all right to the bottom line. $1 tuition increase, which we're not discussing yet. We'll discuss that in January when we give this presentation. Would increase to the bottom line approximately $460,000. And then enrollment, a 1% increase in enrollment adds $785,000 to our revenue line, but that doesn't all hit the bottom line because we're going to have cost of instruction and other things. With more enrollment goes up, the more costs we have. But still, very, very positive numbers there. And next slide, please. And I have with me this evening our controller, David Virgilio, back there working the computer for me. So we'll, him and I would answer any questions you could have.
I have one. It's a race.
I'm gonna let him go first because this is no, I didn't. You're first. I defer.
Just going back to that last slide.
Sure.
So with a $1 tuition increase, that's $460K.
Correct.
That would come in. So in order to match the revenue of what would equal a 1% increase, a $2 increase would be necessary.
Correct. So if you're trying to equalize the tuition and that each pay the same amount, you'd basically, that's how you would do it. So we're doing a 3%, that would equate to a 6% tuition increase.
Do we know, so the assumption on all these options were a household income of, I think it was 365?
Correct. Not income.
Or not income,
Yes.
yeah, not income, the property value. Is that the average property?
It was. We used to use 400, and then we did further research at the board's request a couple of years back, and we started using 365. It's probably gone up now, so maybe our 400's now the correct one, but,
It's assessed value.
you know,
That's
it's,
the value
yeah.
you sell it for, right? That's assessed value. There's a difference.
The value it's taxed on.
Yeah, the value is taxed on. So it's not what you
Correct.
buy your house for, it's what you get taxed on.
Did you have another question?
I'm sure I have many other questions.
Okay.
But I'm going to defer to.
It's a discussion.
You didn't say anything that I needed to refute adamantly. So, I mean, for me, I'm just going to say the same thing I always say. You know, we had a katsu talk today, which made me think of chicken katsu, and now I'm hungry because that's one of my favorites. You know, we have another union we're talking about. We talk about increases every year of 3%, 4%, whatever the case may be. We just had a positive conclusion with the latest contract that we talked about. There are increases in there. I think everybody in the community understands that inflation exists. We've done a really good job of approaching tuition from an inflation basis, and we see that our enrollment is up. Very high increases, right, in comparison, and our tuition is still below the average, right? This last slide you showed us with the levy being so far below, that's even probably more of a positive, so we're at the bottom, providing the highest level of education in Illinois at the most reasonable price, right? So everything to me is based on math, okay? $3, we're talking about $3, so let's just say within this room, we're talking $3 to $6 that people are gonna get increased on, all right? For this per year, from 220 to 223. That's essentially zero for the most part, right? But we have to take into consideration our expenses are going to continue to increase, and we know exactly what that increase is. We had a positive enrollment this year, but you know we've been talking about the cliff for years, right? We don't know what that enrollment is going to look like going forward. Now we're going to obviously do our job to increase enrollment by adding programs and doing and new certificates and other things that Dr. Siddiqui is taking into consideration in terms of apprenticeships and that kind of thing. But to me, it's like, I'm just going to always advocate that we do what we can do. And the reality of it is it's 2.9, but it's really 1.1 that the property owner is seeing. So, and we've seen that I believe we made a mistake when we did zero a few years ago because you never get that back.
Correct.
That compounding goes away. So given that we know, this is to me obvious. Given we know what inflation is, if inflation happens to go down, then the increase goes down, right? I mean, it's really a function of where we are in the world. So I see this as certainly entirely reasonable. I think what we've done a good job of over the last 3 or 4 years is that we've gotten people to stop thinking in terms of dollar amounts and start thinking in terms of percentages in relation to inflation, and I think that's a lot easier for people to swallow. And when you consider the cost of things, our cost is a lot less than people pay for a lot of other stuff that goes on out there. So I think it's great to see that new slide because that's hard to argue.
It is.
The lowest levy in the state or in our region, so.
Well, I'd like to comment on that slide though too, because that really factors into our population, right? If you're in community college district in Southern Illinois, you don't have as many people to tax and properties to tax as you do here in DuPage County. So I think that's going to be, you know, part of the math too.
Right, and it goes to, you could say that in that population, I would say $3 is a lot more valuable than it is to $3 in DuPage County as well, right? So, and we don't know what the percentage dollar increase is for them. We have the lowest percentage, but we don't know what that dollar value is in comparison to their property values, right? So, again, appreciate that. Appreciate all of it. I'm just saying that from my side, you know, you want to not do a levy, then we're not going to give raises. You're not going to give raises, you're not going to have, I mean, it just doesn't work. The math doesn't work.
I'm not saying we don't give raises. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of, I understand that there's inflation, that everything increases, whether it's salaries, benefits, cost of paper, cost of materials, et cetera, et cetera. But there has to be some point where we're looking at this, because the way I look at it is a lot of our students They're not the traditional student of, okay, they're staying at their parents' house and then going to college. It's more, they may be the parent and they're the household owner. So when we're looking at tuition increases and property tax increases, the student that we're either hoping to retain or enroll is technically getting increased twice.
Okay, fine. It's $3. Probably for the population you're speaking of, it's less than $3. So, I mean, that's when I'm going to use dollars. I'm going to throw $3 back at you. So, did you stop at a drive-through today at all for anything, coffee or anything like that?
I did.
Okay. What is that? What's that?
And if it increases, maybe I couldn't have stopped.
I don't know about that.
Are there any questions for Mr. Brady? Or additional clarifications? Do we know what year that enrollment cliff is predicted to impact?
Well, our current projections have us about 1% a year for the next 5 years, and those are true projections. So
Okay.
we're really not projecting it like that, but
Okay.
anything can happen. The combination of enrollment, tuition increases at inflation, and keeping this are helping our financial position, but the enrollment's a big part of it too.
When we're making that projection of the 1% increase in enrollment, is the $785K, is that the current tuition price?
Correct.
Okay.
So we recently learned that our largest, our fastest growing demographic is, I forget the name, the age bracket above high school. What's that called?
25 to...
What are they? Returning adult? I can't remember the title. But anyway, we face a cliff with high school enrollments, but we have opportunities to address that demographic. And that seems to me to be the reasonable thing to be focusing on the basis of not wanting our enrollments to go down precipitously. So
And that's not my area of expertise, but I do
Right.
know too in retention, I mean, keeping someone who's already here is, a lot easier than going out and finding more people, so.
Student Trustee Escobar, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes. So the 1% increase in enrollment is based on estimate, I'm assuming from
Correct, an
previous school years.
actuarial model that research and planning runs here on campus.
Okay, I guess I worry a little because with, obviously, right, tuition is going to increase. That's just naturally going to happen. But I worry that enrollment will decrease the more we increase tuition. So I just want to highlight the fact that that enrollment number, although it is probably most likely accurate, it is still not the truth, or it's not guaranteed to be that number,
Sure.
right?
That's correct.
Okay, I don't think the trustees have any additional questions. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
presentation. Our second presentation tonight is by Dr. Siddiqui on strategic planning.
Thank you, Trustee, for providing this opportunity. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share a framework for our next strategic plan for the college. And can you switch next slide?
So as you know that the College of DuPage is going to conclude its current strategic long-range plan in June 2026. And as the college charts its next course, an inclusive, evidence-based planning process will launch, reflecting our mission to educate, enrich, and empower communities for success. So although college, strategic planning process is a very inclusive process, it is based on shared values, shared consensus. The responsibility for defining the framework for the planning process still rests on the top leadership or the college president. So that's the purpose of my presentation here, to share some of the framework that we put together to pursue our plan. Our strategic planning process or our new strategic plan will be grounded in our core values, which are integrity, honesty, respect, equity, and responsibility. These are the guiding poles to guide our journey over the next 8 to 10 months, I would say. Next slide. There are a couple of different components of a strategic plan that some provide foundation to the strategic plan, some are supporting documents or components, and actually the strategic plan that includes implementation. So our mission drives our action, and we are going to keep our mission on top of everything when we pursue this entire conversation and dialogue. The strategic planning process consists of, can you flip the slide? Yeah. So this is our framework. And so the strategic planning process consists of certain phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. The first step is a dialogue, which includes widespread conversation with community about what they expect from College of DuPage, what are their aspirations, how can we further improve our offerings. So it truly reflects the aspiration, the expectation of the community. So during the dialogue phase, we are planning to host many conversations, town hall type of meetings in the community that will include K through 12, four-year partners, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, affinity groups, and our employers. Of course, these are external stakeholders, but also internal constituents and stakeholders, includes faculty, staff, administrators, and students, the most important constituent in this process. So dialogue is a process, and we collect all these information, we perform a thematic study, and the next phase is the discovery phase, where we consolidate all the data from environmental scanning, SWOT analysis, and student surveys, employee surveys, and community surveys. We collect all these information, and then based on these two phases, dialogue and discovery, we're going to host a synthesis session, which are campus-wide sessions. And after that, we formalize 4 or 5 pillars, strategic pillars, to focus on, and then also define under the pillars different goals and objectives, which I'm going to show in the next slide. So this is actually overarching strategic planning process that we are going to pursue in development of the strategic plan. Next slide. As I already mentioned, explained in the previous slide, the dialogue phase is very important, and the intent is to capture perspectives on opportunities, challenges, and aspirations. And the outcome, desirable outcome, is some narratives reflecting COD's community experiences and aspiration. As I explained also, the discovery phase is, next slide, establish a shared understanding of COD current environment, internal environment, external environment. And the outcome of this phase would be evidence to guide strategic pillars and conversation with stakeholders, especially internal stakeholders. Synthesis is integrate findings from phase 1 and phase 2 and create a set of mission-driven set of themes or pillars that balance ambition, with accountability. Next slide. Validation is a very important phase where the community at COD validate and refine strategic pillars that reflect both institutional capacity and community aspiration. And finally, we put together an implementation plan that would consist of the major KPIs, key performance indicators, and intended outcomes. However, this is as you know that this is a gigantic task. It includes a structure and a format to pursue this process, go through these all 5 or 6 phases in the strategic plan. For that purpose, we need to have a group of senior leadership across the college to drive this plan. So I would like to introduce Strategic Planning Committee co-chair, Dr. Newkirk and Dr. Moritzen, and they will drive us, they will drive this process through different representation at the college. We have, under the steering committee, we are in the process of recruiting membership from faculty, staff, and all other constituents on the campus. And there will be a structure for subcommittees under Strategic Planning Committee. So Strategic Planning Committee is the overarching team that is responsible for putting together a plan based on the principle of inclusion, diversity, and equity. Next slide. So the focus is, once we have these 4 or 5 pillars out of conversation and dialogue, we need to develop some goals under each pillar or theme. And then for each goal, we need to define some objectives. Corresponding to each objective, we define some measures, and then we celebrate the outcomes. Next slide. This looks pretty busy, but I just wanted to show our structure for start with the pillar, the goal, the objectives, the KPI, and what are some intended outcomes. For example, next slide. This slide is just to provide board a description. You can see, and these numbers are not real numbers like percentage or whatever you see. This is just for the sake of presentation. The pillar is student success, for example. The goal is strengthen equitable access and persistence. And you can see there are 3 objectives. Corresponding to 3 objectives, we have few measures, and these are intended outcomes. This would be the shape and the format of the strategic plan that we are going to build. Next slide. And these 4 pillars, 4 or 5 pillars, depending on steering committee project outcome, they are connected with each other, they support each other, and actually they are governed by our vision and our strategy for College DuPage. So this is a lot of work. I try my best to summarize in the slides, but it's a lot of work. But this will be a very comprehensive strategic plan, and this is my goal, is to make sure that everybody can touch this strategic plan and say, this is mine. So this is the top priority for me right now. However, because of the breadth of the work and the volume of the work, we may need some help from external sources, probably a consultant or someone. Not for running the whole project, but collecting the data, and scheduling some sessions in the community. We do not have this kind of training or number of people who can do that in the community. So I will come to the board. I'm in the process of analyzing the need with the steering committee, and I will come to the board if we need any help for their approval. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Newkirk to explain a little bit about our steering committee work, and that would, after that, conclude my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight about the strategic long-range plan. Dr. Morrison is an elected member of the Berwyn North 98 School District, and she actually has a board meeting this evening as well, so she could not be here. So you are stuck with me to present the overview of how we will work together. We're excited to co-chair this as we want to demonstrate to campus that faculty and staff have a voice in the strategic plan and that we are united in this voice. As we begin this important journey, our first step in November will be to formally convene the committee. We have clarified the charge, started to define roles and expectations, and are working diligently to develop a comprehensive communication plan with marketing and communications to ensure ongoing engagement for our internal and external stakeholders. We reached out to committees on committees for faculty representation and cabinet members to help nominate folks across campus to serve. In the coming weeks, we will be reviewing institutional data, previous plans, and external benchmarks to establish a strong foundation for our work. Looking ahead to December and January, our focus will shift to engaging stakeholders. We plan to work with our committee to identify key internal and external partners, host internal meetings similar to the Hot Topics luncheons, and introduce the committee, explain the functions, and encourage broad employee involvement. In the spring, we'll launch surveys, focus groups, and listening sessions to gather valuable feedback and will guide our planning process. We may need some outside help, similar to what Dr. Siddiqui had just mentioned, to help fully engage our stakeholders and our outside community. We're committed to communication, collaboration, and ensuring that our voices and communities shape the strategic direction of our institution. Thank you for your ongoing support as we embark on this significant initiative. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your excellent presentation. We look forward to hearing more and future updates. The next item on the agenda is for information. Items 8A through 8G are provided to the board for information only, and no action is required to be taken on these items. Do trustees require additional details or have any questions regarding the 4 information items of 8A through 8G? Okay. Hearing none. Secretary Mano, would you please read the consent agenda items in full, items 9A through 9Y?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Item 9A, approval of minutes from August 28, 2025, regular Board of Trustees meeting. Item 9B, approval of minutes from the closed session of the August 28, 2025, regular Board of Trustees meeting. Item 9C, approval of minutes from the September 18, 2025, regular Board of Trustees meeting. Item 9D, approval of minutes from the closed session of the September 18, 2025, regular Board of Trustees meeting. Item 9E, financial reports, treasurer's report, payroll reports, accounts payable report, all disbursements excluding payroll, budget transfer report, legal professional and search fees report, and travel expense request report. Item 9F, approval of payment for the annual unacclaimed property submission to the state of Illinois in the amount not to exceed $85,000. Item 9G, change order for an additional $24,116 to the board-approved contract for the TEC Greenhouse Full Spectrum LED Grow Light System for a new total contract amount of $98,003.66. Item 9H, approval of a contract with Kruger International, 1330 Bellevue Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54302, in the amount of $48,601 for the purchase of new tables and chairs in classroom TEC 3021. Item 9I, approval of a contract with the Siegel Company for a human resources organizational structure and operational efficiency assessment in the amount not to exceed $155,000. $135,000 for consulting services with an additional $20,000 for travel expenses. Item 9J, approval for a 1-year contract with an option of up to 2 1-year renewals for the third shift supplemental custodial services with EcoClean Maintenance, Inc. in the amount of $2,073,320. Item 9K, approval of a 2-year contract option for irrigation system maintenance and repair services to Aqua Designs, Inc., not in an amount not to exceed $322,490. Item 9L, approval of a 5-year contract for the American Sign Language Interpreting Services with Lester and Rosalie Annixter Center, DBA, Chicago Hearing Society, for a total not to exceed amount of $750,000. Item 9M, approval of a contract for the executive search firm services for the positions of Vice President Human Resources and Vice President Analytics, Strategy, and Research to Stanton Chase DC LLC in the not to exceed amount of $115,000. Item 9N, amendment to the agreement with Blackboard LLC to add Ally, a course content accessibility tool, and an additional amount not to exceed $135,141 for a new grand total amount not to exceed $1,628,767. Item 9O, approval of a purchase of commercials from Comcast Holdings, Effect TV, advertising for the MAC in an amount not to exceed $65,000 for FY26. Item 9P, approval for WGN TV advertising for the MAC in an amount not to exceed $35,000 for FY26. Item 9Q, approval for the purchase of 2 pressure flow level and temperature process learning systems and 1 pneumatic training system from Advanced Technology Consultants, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $185,000. Item 9R, approval for up to 3 trustees to attend the Governance Training Institute at the Chicago Marriott Naperville in Naperville, Illinois, on November 13 through 14, 2025, for costs up to $1,950 to include the $650 per trustee for registration. Item 9S, reimbursement for expenses for Vice Chair Appel for her attendance at the ICCTA board meeting and DEI committee meeting on September 11 through 13, 2025, in the amount of $909.88. Item 9T, AFSCME custodial contract, July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. Item 9U, board resolution regarding divestment. Item 9V, approval for the increase in the aggregate spend for the procurement of technological equipment through the Perkins Grant funds from vendor Riverside Technologies in an amount not to exceed $200,000 for fiscal year 2026 to support the growth of new technologies in College of DuPage's programs. Item 9W, approval for the President's updated business travel and expenses for FY26 in an amount not to exceed $59,187. Item 9X, separation agreement and release for Wendy McCambridge. Item 9Y, personnel actions for board approval.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion that the Board of Trustees approves the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Secretary Mano and seconded by Trustee Tumanero. Are there any items to be removed from the agenda for separate discussion and consideration?
I would like to remove item 9U for separate decision, separate voting. I don't know, I'm sorry.
Item 9U, board resolution regarding divestment, to be removed for separate consideration.
9S.
Okay. And are there any other items to be removed for separate consideration?
I was going to remove 9S too.
Thanks.
Okay, so are there any objections to amending the motion to approve the consent agenda with the following items removed, 9U and 9S? Seeing no objection, the revised motion is to approve the consent agenda with the following items removed, 9U and 9S. Secretary, please call the roll.
Student Trustee Escobar.
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Mano, yes. Trustee Sincool.
Yes.
Trustee Tumanaro.
Yes.
Trustee Appel.
Yes.
Trustee Howard.
Yes.
Trustee Jutla.
Yes.
Chair Fenny.
Yes. Motion passes. The first, I will entertain a motion to approve agenda item 9U.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Secretary Mano and seconded by Trustee Jutla. Is there any discussion on this item or questions? Hearing none, Secretary Mano, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Student Trustee Escobar.
Abstain.
Trustee Tumanaro.
Yes.
Trustee Appel.
Yes.
Trustee Howard.
Yes.
Trustee Jatla.
Yes.
Trustee Mano, yes. Trustee Sinkul.
I abstain.
Chair Fenny.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I will entertain a motion to approve item 9S, reimbursement of expenses for Vice Chair Appel.
So moved.
Get this one.
Seconded?
You will.
I'm not sure.
Student Trustee Escobar, you seconded? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Is there any discussion, or would you like to present information?
The number is higher than it should be. So the expenses total to $739.34, but in the consent agenda, the amount is $909.88.
May we edit the motion?
Yes.
Great.
So,
As much as
I'm okay with
I'd
Flo
like
getting
to
the
take
909.
all the money. I think I shouldn't do that. Yeah.
Thank you for your integrity and ethics. So the new motion is item 9S, reimbursement of expenses to Vice Chair Appel for her attendance at the meeting in the amount of $739.34. Secretary Mano, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Student Trustee Escobar.
Yes.
Trustee Appel.
Yes.
Trustee Howard.
Yes.
Trustee Jatla.
Yes.
Trustee Mano, yes. Trustee Sinkul.
Yes.
Trustee Tumanaro.
Yes.
Chair Fenny.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we are now at item 10, which is trustee discussion, and Vice Chair Appel and I have something to discuss with all of you.
You want to start?
Sure. Yes, we both would like to encourage trustee participation at the November governance leadership training, November 13th and 15th. I understand that, it can be a burden to stop your other activities of working and life to go to this event. However, we have an excellent opportunity because it is in Naperville at the Chicago Marriott, so it's literally in our backyard. So practically zero travel. Also, this is not the same as our June training event that we had. That's kind of required by state law. This is in addition to that, and it really provides some great opportunities to network with other trustees and to collaborate in discussions on important issues in higher education. And I know in the memo that was sent to us, they gave us some topics that they would be talking about, like leadership transition and overcoming obstacles. Sorry, I just didn't have my notes, but so we wanted to encourage participation in this specific meeting, mostly because it's right here and it's additional governance training that's not a part of what we already did in June. So it's not duplicative. It is more enhanced and allows for small group interactions with, discussions within like your table group that you'd be sitting with of a variety of trustees from around the state. And I find value in that, and I look forward to attending. Trustee Vice Chair Appel, would you like to add additional details regarding the ICCTA portion?
Yeah, I have brought this up before. ICCTA is a great resource for us, and understood that it takes time out of weekdays, which I understand people don't always have. So nevertheless, you can attend part of it. You don't have to commit to the whole thing. And the opportunity to interact with other trustees is really important. So, and then in addition to the Governance Leadership Institute, ICCTA will have a regular meeting. And that's on a Saturday, so maybe you're not working on Saturday. So it is a good opportunity to find out where we fit in the fabric of community colleges in the state. So I would urge you to try. So that's my
So if
spiel.
you're interested in attending, just send me an email and we'll get you all set up. Is there any other discussion that trustees would like to share?
I just wanted to make mention of, during Walter's presentation for the student, he mentioned the golf score, which Walter shoots on the regular basis. So I just wanted to point that out. And then the other thing, Christine and I were at the homecoming, and the chappie, I swear, was Dan Markwell dancing, because it was about the same height, and he had the same sort of rigid movements as well. So I'm convinced, and I'd like to find out if possible. And I would like to have a policy, if you make public comment, you have to stay for the entire meeting, that meeting. That would be something I'd like to see, because, you know, you should have to listen to us, too. That's what I think as well. So that's all I have.
Okay, so next up is our calendar dates. Coming up is the Distinguished Alumni Awards on Saturday, October 25th at 10 a.m. in SRC 2000. This is a wonderful event that I have attended before, and I'm sad to miss it this year, but I encourage any trustees who are going to be available to attend this and learn the stories of our distinguished alumni. They're always surprising and encouraging, and it's a great day to interact with these important alumni. Following that, November 1st, we have the scholarship reception at the Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. Also another inspirational event, learning the stories behind our scholarship recipients, and also meeting with those who are providing scholarships in some cases. November 10th is Creating Impact, a CHAP Salute Luncheon. I believe this is focused on our veterans for Veterans Day, and so that will be also an inspiring event to attend. And then most inspiring of all, or maybe lacking in inspiration, is our November 20th, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting here in this room at 6 p.m. So we encourage all and welcome all public comment at that next meeting. So with our excellent work earlier, we have no additional closed session needed for this evening. Congratulations, trustees. So there is no need for a closed session, and seeing that there's no further business coming before the board this evening, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting for the Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Ooh, see, there's a duet. Okay. Moved by student trustee Escobar and seconded by Vice Chair Appel. Secretary Manna, will you please call for a voice vote?
All those in favor of adjourning the regular board meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Time is 8:52.
Thank you very much, everyone.